And so once I got my load up to like 15, 16, 17 clients, I just raised my rates for the next set of proposals. So after a year or two, a couple of years of coaching, I had a full docket. I'm like, great, I'm going to double my rate, see what happens. Nobody blinked. The next year, I filled my rates again at the higher level, and then I raised it another 50%. Nobody blinked. Now I've kind of hit the point where they blink. I've tried to raise my
Okay.
rates from where they are, and it's like, yeah, this is seems to be with the market clearing rate, where it's like, okay, I can't really go above this without figuring out something new for me to do. And that's fine. I mean, like I get compensated very well for a coach. I know that. But to get there, I had to build my own confidence.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets Podcast. I'm Kevin, and today we are joined by Eric Nehrlich. He is the founder of Too Many Trees. He's been in business for 7 years, and then he's the author of the book, You Have a Choice. And so, welcome to the show, Eric.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear your story and all that too. We were just like vibing before. It turns out you went to MIT when I was a kindergartner in Boston and stuff like that. So yeah, but with that being said, I would love to hear the origin story. Like, let's start at the beginning. Let's start with the lore. What made you want to become a coach, and more importantly, turn it into a business? So curious about that.
Yeah, so I didn't realize it, but I've been a coach my whole life, and I didn't know that's what I was doing. But looking backwards now, it's like in anything I was doing, I was finding ways to help people figure out how to get unstuck, figure out what's blocking them, figure out what's stopping them. Like all the way back, like, so I actually majored in physics. And in grad school, I was in physics, I was a TA, and I was doing office hours to help people when they were stuck on their homework. And I was really good at that. Like people would come seek out my office hours because they knew that if they talked to me, I would help them get unstuck and help them figure out what was blocking them from understanding the concept of the problem or whatever. And then later I was a software engineer, and I was really good at intuiting what my clients was a consultant were trying to get done and get them to what they needed to do. So like one of my clients at one point was like, got really frustrated with me. He's like, you never give me what I asked for. He's like, because I was like, I need this. I need you to write this. I need you to write this. And then I wouldn't do that. I would write something else. And he said, you never give me what I asked for, but you always give me what I need. Because I was understanding the problem and getting him to the place he needed to go, not doing what he asked me to do. And then one last example, I worked at Google for a while, and at one point we got a new manager, and he did something I've never seen any other manager do, which was instead of coming in to this team that was already working and saying, okay, we're going to take over, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. He was like, you guys are working pretty well. I'm just going to sit and watch you work for a week or two just to see what your rhythms are like, how you guys work together. And like the humility to sit back and say, you know what, I don't have all the answers. Let me see what's already working so I can build on that. At the end of those week or two, he came to me and it's like, Eric, did you know you're the person everybody goes to when they're stuck and can't figure out what to do? And I'm like, no, I did not know that. It was so natural to me and so obvious that I would help people do that like it never occurred to me that was unusual or special. And I mean, I guess if you had to say my origin story, like that was kind of it. It was like, oh, that's just something not everybody does. And several years later, when I was trying to figure out what was next for my career, I was talking to somebody and describing this moment, describing how I operate. And they're like, that's called coaching. Have you considered coaching? I'm like, wait, that's a job? You can do that? They're like, yes, that is a thing people pay for. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. And then I went after it, and I tried to figure out how to make a business out of it.
Let's fast forward to now. So you embark on this coaching journey, you turn it into a business, and I'm kind of curious, who do you kind of help and what do you help them with these days?
Yeah, so I mean, it took me a couple of years to find my niche. I mean, like most coaches, I came out of coaching school, my coaching certification program, like I can coach anybody. I can be a life coach, career coach, executive. I can do it all. And it turns out that's not a useful thing because, first of all, people don't know. Like people don't. Your friends are trying to help you. Who you can coach? Anybody. Well, they can't do anything with that. There's no pattern matching there. So then I kind of narrowed it down to I work with high performers that are stuck. So people like me that went to a high powered school like MIT or Ivy Leagues, and they're ambitious and they exceed expectations and they're still feeling stuck. Because at some point they're stuck, not because of what's in their head, but like their previous successes are actually blocking them from further success. So I was like, that's a good niche. And since then, I've narrowed it even further where I'm really focused on first time executives. And that's a really interesting niche because these are people who've just tackled every problem, fought every fire. They run toward, they figure things out, they get things done, they raise their hand. And these are all great career traits. It's so powerful for them. It gets them promoted, it gets them recognition. And then they hit the executive level and they're trying to stay involved in all the details. They're trying to solve every problem themselves. And they're trying to be the expert and the answer person. And like, that is absolutely the wrong way to do it. It is, all their instincts are wrong. And that's a really hard mind flip because it's like, this brought me success for 10, 15, 20 years. And now you're telling me to not have the answer, not do it myself, not raise my hand. And you're like, yeah, no, you got to give it away. They're like, ooh, but that person's not as good as I am. I'm like, yeah, and you still have to give it away. So that's where I'm kind of playing these days.
That's so interesting. Reminds me of that really popular book by Marshall Goldsmith,
Yep.
I think. I forgot his name, but
Yeah.
what got you here
won't get you there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so
Back
true.
here
Like,
someplace.
yeah, I have it on my bookshelf, like back in Vegas and stuff. But yeah, it's just like really interesting because I notice with like top performers, like it's really like even myself, like I notice it's really hard to let go of things sometimes, and being able to outsource that requires vulnerabilities, all these mental things that are going on too. That's really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, change means letting go. And like you said, letting go is so hard, especially when something has brought us success for many years or kept us safe for many years.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the core of what I try to do as a coach is help people see the mindsets or habits or attitudes that have brought them success and that are now invisible prisons keeping them from greater success.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, all those years of positive reinforcement and all that. Like to find out it's like, oh no, we're in opposite land. I'm like, shoot, that's crazy. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, your brain gets wired to do things a certain way. That's why it's so hard to stop doing it because your brain is wired with all that positive reinforcement. This is the way to do things. This is the only way to do things. And it's like, yeah, it's not just like, I think that's one thing that's I find so interesting about coaching is it's not as simple as like, oh, I get this new idea and then I change my life. No.
Yeah.
You have to practice the new idea. You have to build new neural circuits. You have to rewire the brain. And that just takes time and effort and attention. And certainly with my clients in Silicon Valley, attention is something they don't have a lot of because they're already overwhelmed and they're already working so hard.
Yeah. Let's talk. Okay. So you kind of help first time execs. You kind of figured out that kind of niche, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so let's talk about marketing for your business, right? Like, what kind of marketing are you doing right now? And how do people typically find out about you or your services and stuff?
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, most of my business comes from referrals. So it's people either know somebody that has worked with me or know me from, I mean, I worked in tech for 20 years before I became a coach. So I have a pretty big network. And so most of my business comes from referrals at this point. When I was getting started, I used LinkedIn. I mean, it was a great place to publish content. It's where the people I wanted to work with were hanging out. Either they were looking for a new job because they were feeling stuck, or they were a leader or an executive trying to hire people. So they were on LinkedIn. And either way, if I could publish useful stuff that would, people are like, ooh, this applies to me. I feel this. And I had a lot of clients come to me like, yeah, I read that post of yours. I'm like, that's me. And I want to work with this guy. So that's kind of where it was mainly LinkedIn and referrals. And I guess I'll add one thing is that these days, the LinkedIn algorithm is whack. It's all over the place. So I'm trying to figure out the next phase of marketing for me because it's not LinkedIn is not working as consistently anymore.
Maybe you should get them as a client and coach them. Who knows?
I think they're doing what's right for them, which is tuning for engagement and tuning for profitability. I think they turned on paid ads and like at that point the incentives get all messed up.
Yeah. So since most of your business is coming from referrals, what are kind of the pros and cons that you notice when it comes to relying on referrals for clients? Like, what are some pros and cons?
Yeah, I mean, the pros is sales process is really easy. You know, if somebody's coming to talk to me, they want coaching, they know they want coaching, and somebody they trust has said, go talk to Eric. So at that point, it's really easy to close. Like I can have one conversation. They're like, yes, sign me up. This is great. The downside, the con is that it's unreliable because sometimes things are slow. Like I'm in a slow period right now where I'm not getting many referrals and you can't go like I guess I could go tell other people, go refer more people to me, but doesn't feel authentic to me. So it's like having a more on-demand source of clients is something that I'm looking for. I'm just gonna be very transparent here because this is something I've talked to a bunch of coaches about this year.
I appreciate that too, that low vulnerability, man. Have you considered like as you're going through a slow period right now, have you thought or considered any other like marketing streams or testing out new ones?
I mean, more vulnerability. I hired a sales coach last year. He gave me a LinkedIn strategy like, okay, go make 1,000 connections, reach out on DMs every day, like just do outbound. Outbound is how you fill your calendar, and that's how you get things. And I paid him a lot of money, and I didn't do anything that he said. So I was like, okay, that's a playbook. And then I found another course this year that was like, okay, here's how you fill your funnel. And I took this video course. I watched the videos. I didn't do any of the work. And it's like, the problem is not the information. Back kind of what we were talking about before. The problem is not the information. I have the information of what I need to do, but there's something internal blocking me. And I'm still kind of working through that for myself of why I don't want to do it. And I mean, to be fair to myself and to show a little compassion to myself, it's like we had our third kid last fall. So this is the first year with 3 kids. And that's a lot. And I think there's just a part of me that's like, I don't want more clients right now. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. I got enough on my plate.
Yeah.
And it's like, am I okay with that? And I think that's kind of the internal wrestling ground I'm feeling right now. It's like, yeah, I want more clients, but at the same time, I don't actually want more clients. It's nice to have a little space.
You want the option for more clients at like a snap of the fingers.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. That's hilarious. Okay. Now that we kind of understand your marketing, I guess, I'd love to talk about kind of, okay, someone finds out about you, they work with you, you're doing a coaching engagement. What do your offers look like? Do you have like one-on-one coaching, group coaching? Like, how does that look like organized?
I mean, I primarily do one-on-one executive coaching. That's my main bread and butter. I've done facilitation gigs, like where somebody wants to bring me in for their leadership team at an offsite or something. I'll do some public speaking here and there. I've been playing with a Maven course where I try to do basically group coaching for a bunch of people. But the thing that continues to pay the bills is the one-on-one executive coaching. Everything else haven't quite figured out how to, like, I've done each of all of these other things, but nothing else has really stuck the way one-on-one coaching has. And again, that's partially limited attention. I think I would have to really concentrate and figure out everything about position and market and sell a group course instead of one-on-one coaching. And I just don't have the time and attention to do that right now.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing I'm very curious about is I think a lot of people listening to this, they actually struggle with like pricing strategy, right? And so obviously you don't have to give any hard numbers about anything, but what's your approach to pricing strategies? Because I know some people, they charge like project based, some people do value based, some people do subscriptions or retainers. Like, what have you kind of noticed yourself gravitating to?
I've been pretty consistent about sticking with 6-month coaching engagements, so 6-month coaching packages. And I mean, they end up being session based, but I don't sell them as price per hour. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm happy to share pricing. I've got no secrets, but like for a 6-month coaching engagement, I'll charge between $10,000 and $20,000, depending on whether it's out of pocket, whether the company's paying, the level of the person. I'm going to charge more if you're a VP than if you're a manager. Like, I'm sorry, you make more money. The impact the coaching will have will be greater. Like, there's nothing, and that's especially because I work with technology executives in Silicon Valley. Like, I know what they make. The people I'm talking to are making upwards of 600,000-700,000 a year, maybe well over $1 million in some cases. I had a client recently tell me that after leaving his 5-month, or he'd been at a company for 5 years, he made $15 million in those 5 years. Like, whatever he's paying me is a bargain if I helped him even 1% to be 1% better. And he gives me credit for more than that. So, I wish I could figure out a way to like buy stock in the people I coach. Like, hey, yeah, I just want, just get equity. Like, I want 5% of the upside. Like nothing but you got to where you are, but from here on out for the next year, I want 5% of whatever increases you get, because I swear I would make a lot more money if I could do that.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah, and I'm so curious too, like when you're figuring out your pricing, how did you figure out your initial rates? And like those rates that you're charging, did you kind of increase them over time, or
Yes.
were you like 10,000 off the bat,
Oh,
or
no. I know people that did that. I was not in that position. When I started, fresh out of my coaching certification, I'm doing coaching part-time on the side. I was like, will you please maybe, pay $200 an hour? Like, that seems like too much, but can you do that? And that bravely raised it to $300 an hour the next year. But what I did, which was actually helpful, was I made a rule for myself. So because I have kids, because I'm trying to fit this business around other things in life, I knew I didn't want to have more than about 20 clients at a time, because like that's the amount that I felt I could serve well and effectively, without burning myself out. And so once I got my load up to like 15, 16, 17 clients, I just raised my rates for the next set of proposals, because it's like, well, I only have like 3 slots left. Let me raise my rates. So after a year or two, a couple of years of coaching, I had a full docket. I'm like, great, I'm going to double my rate, see what happens. Nobody blinked. The next year, I filled my rates again at the higher level, and then I raised it another 50%. Nobody blinked. Now I've kind of hit the point where they blink. I've tried to raise my rates from where they are, and it's like, yeah, this is seems to be with the market clearing rate, where it's like, okay, I can't really go above this without figuring out something new for me to do. And that's fine. I mean, like, I get compensated very well for a coach. I know that. But to get there, I had to build my own confidence. I know other people that come straight out of the gate. They're charging $10,000 for a 6-month coaching engagement. And they're like, this is just what it is. That's the market rate. And they're right. But I wasn't confident enough to say that number with a straight face when I started. And it took me a while to trust that I was delivering the results, to trust that I was offering the value that justified that number. So, I mean, people have their own confidence journeys. Mine, I had to build up to it.
Yeah, it sounds like a mix of like having proof of concept of the results that you're giving, and then also seeing your own capacity like fill up, and you're like, oh shoot, people really do want me, man. I'm the like hot new guy on the block.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's really the first one. Like, I saw my clients get great results. I had multiple clients saying like, yeah, you're undercharging. You are worth way more than this to me. Like, I had a client that was looking for a job a few years ago and, struggling with their confidence. We worked through some of their blockers and they landed a $1,000 a year job at Netflix. There's real value. Like, whatever they paid me was minuscule compared to what they ended up making. And a few stories like that, and I start to go like, oh yeah, I am delivering a lot of value and I can charge appropriately.
Has your mind ever wandered to like value-based pricing at all? Like value-based pricing models?
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at value-based pricing. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing to some extent. Like, if I think about my packages from an hourly rate, it hurts my brain. Like, I'm not worth $1,000 an hour. But if I think of it in terms of, am I making my clients more effective? Yeah, I definitely am. And given their compensation, the value I'm providing is probably I'm probably underpricing myself. And so there's like, that's a bit of a tension. And I mean, to be clear, like, I know coaches that charge 40, 50,000 plus for a 6-month coaching package. They have no problem getting that. These are experienced, effective coaches, and their capacity is always full. They're like, oh yeah, I got a wait list of like 2 years to work with me. So they can charge whatever they want, because it's like people are waiting out the door to work with them.
Yeah.
That's an aspiration. It's like, okay, I want to get to that point where it's like, yeah, I can charge a lot more and have just endless demand. I'm not there yet.
Let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about the aspirations that you have. Like, Curious about your future goals. And
Hmm.
so, given that you have a third kid now, your time's a lot more valuable and you're kind of that capacity. I guess, where do you want this coaching business to take you in the next few years? Do you have any secret dreams, big ambitions? Do you want to scale? Like, what kind of comes to mind for you?
I have zero ambitions to scale. I want a business that pays the bills and lets me control my own time. I mean, that's what I'm. That's where I'm at. I mean, would I like to make more money? Yeah, but not at the cost of time with my family right now. Part of the reason I went into coaching was for exactly that reason. I left my job at Google right after my son was born, my first kid. And so he's almost 7 now. So, I've been in business 8 years. Like this is not coincidental. And I really just believe very strongly, my wife and I both do, that the first 10 years of a kid's life are when they're going to spend the most time with you. Because after that, they have their own friends, they're having their own activities, they're going to be busy. And so being around for these 10 years is most important to me right now. And I'm fortunate to be able to do something I really enjoy with that gives me that freedom of time. I guess, so yeah, from a business point of view, I'm happy where I am. I'm not trying to scale. I really don't want to manage anybody. That sounds awful. But I guess I'll say, to the aspiration point, there's another level of coaching I want to get to, and I can see it from where I am. And that's kind of my aspiration. If you watch really masterful coaches, one example is Jerry Colonna at Reboot. He's called the CEO Whisperer. And he just will sit down with somebody, see into their soul, uncover their childhood trauma, and make them cry within like 10 minutes. And that level of presence, of welcoming, of safety, of striking straight to the core issue, that's awesome. Like, I can do it in, like, I have moments where I achieve that level of insight and connection, but I want to operate at that level more consistently. So that's, I think, if I had an aspiration, it's like there's coaching on like the surface stuff, which is I'm great at and I could do. It's like tactics and things, and like some one layer down stuff that I work with a lot of my clients on, and then like 5 layers down, I sometimes get there, but I haven't quite figured out how to do that consistently. And I think that's my aspiration, is really coach to the core human, not to the circumstances.
Yeah, reminds me of Jiro Dreams of Sushi, that like documentary back in the day, where like he gets really. Do you mind? Have you ever seen that documentary? Do you know what I'm referring to?
I know that I haven't actually seen it, but I know the documentary.
The
Yeah.
concept, yeah. Basically follows a life of this Japanese like sushi like master or whatever. He refines this like one sushi set like over many years. And
Hmm.
sure, could he have like scaled a sushi empire? Probably, but he loved the craft of making sushi and stuff. And you're kind of like that, but with coaching, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean that. Yes, I think that's very much it. It's like I love getting better, and I want to be better, and not for myself. Like, it's not about like, oh, I can make more money if I'm better. I don't care about that. It's just like I want to
Yeah.
serve people better, and if I can help them get to where they need to go faster. Like, I took this course last year with a guy named Thomas Hübel, who's a Austrian mystic coach. And he's one of those people that 5 years ago I would have considered him so far out there and woo woo that like I'm like, this guy's like not even connected to the human planet. And now I'm like, this guy's amazing and I want to be just like him. Because I
What's
was
his name again?
Thomas Hubel, Hu umlaut BL, and he's definitely an acquired taste. He's a little bit out there, but in this coaching class I took with him, it was a trauma informed coaching class. There were people in the audience or among the students that something he said just hit them in the wrong way, and they started having a full-on breakdown. Like, they are sobbing, hyperventilating, hysterical. And he would walk up to them and would look them straight in the eye. And he would say, "Can you share what you're feeling right now?" And they would instantly calm down because they would just feel safe because he was there. Their nervous system would be like, I can relax. But the way he puts it is, safety is feeling you, feeling me. They could feel that he was there to take care of them, and then they could calm down. Watching him do that, I was like, that is a superpower that would be really cool to develop. And like I said, I have moments where I can get to that level, and I want to get there more consistently.
As you're thinking about maybe your coaching abilities or your business, maybe your current season of business in life,
Mm-hmm.
What are some challenges and bottlenecks that you're kind of noticing that most people wouldn't expect you to be going through right now?
I mean, one is, like I said, the marketing and the getting clients, especially the last couple of years in the tech industry, there's been layoffs, there's been budget cuts. Everybody's focused on profit. And that means less money for coaching, less money for development from corporations. And individual people are like, I don't know if I'm going to get fired next week. I can't afford to hire a coach, even though this is actually the best time to hire a coach to navigate these uncertain times. But it's hard when you're in that state of terror, in that state of anxiety. It's hard to believe that and actually make that investment. So that's a challenge. That's something that I have to, like, I think I have to modify my sales pitch, my marketing pitch, my materials to speak to that reality that people are facing. It's not about reaching the next level of coaching. It's how do you navigate these uncertain and chaotic times? But I guess I'll say that's kind of the external challenge. The internal challenge is finding that place within myself that's more grounded, more connected, not stressed out, not anxious. And it's so easy to be stressed and anxious in this world. I mean, God, just read the news and you're put in a state of hysteria and terror.
Yeah.
And if you're in that state, you can't help other people as effectively. And I'll notice it. If I come into a coaching call and I'm like revved up and jittery, like it's not as good a coaching call. I'm not as helpful. When I just got my certification, I hired a supervisor coach, and she told me something that was really impactful, which is, look, in coaching, you are the instrument of change. Like the change happens through you. So you have to take care of yourself first. Because unless you're fully present, you have dealt with all your own stuff, you can't be there for the client effectively. And I think that, like, I mentioned my not following the marketing and sales plans I've been given. Like part of that is that, like, I'm not fully there right now. In part because I'm not sleeping well, because I got a baby. In part because I'm stressed out, because there's a lot happening in the world. In part because I'm stressed out, because like business isn't going as well as it used to. And it's easy to like go into hyperdrive and more action, say, I got to do more. That's the way out of this. And I need to keep reminding myself, no, the way to get out of this is to slow down, take care of myself, exercise, invest in myself, find new stability within myself, because the world is not going to be stable. So the only stability I can find could be within myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bring up some great points, because that's why I'm so fascinated about neuroscience and stuff too, and how like literally our empathy is shut off when we're in a survival mode and whatnot. It's probably the reason why you never see a super high strung FBI hostage negotiator, right? Like they're always calm and cool, collected. Imagine if someone had high anxiety, high strung, and was like talking like, "Oh my god, okay, blah blah blah." Dude, I'm sorry, those hostages are gone, dude. In that situation, if you bring that person, can't do that.
Yeah, Chris Voss in his book called Never Split the Difference. Yeah, talks about the late night radio DJ voice.
Late night DJ voice.
Yeah. But there's a woman named Lara Hogan. She's a management coach, and she has this great article. It's like, be the thermostat, not the thermometer. And what she means by that is if other people are stressed out and anxious, and you rev yourself up because it's anxious in the room, and then you get anxious, you're responding to the circumstance around you. You're like responding to the temperature of the room as like a thermometer would. And if you're a leader, it's better to be a thermostat, where whatever the temperature of the room is, you can reset it. If people are stressed out, you calm them down. If people are too calm and you need to rev them up, you can rev them up. But being able to like control yourself to then, because people pick up cues. You mentioned nervous system. We have mirror neurons. We pick up on what other people are feeling. And so if somebody else is calm, and especially if they're in a position of authority, they're like, oh, it's okay. I can be calm too. But if the leader is stressed out and anxious, everybody else gets stressed out and anxious. Because like, what am I missing? What do they know that I don't know? Am I in danger? All those survival mechanisms you mentioned kick in, the adrenaline, the cortisol. And so being able to manage our own nervous system is such a key skill, not just of being a coach, but being a leader of any sort. Oh my gosh, what's her name? The polyvagal lady, Deb Dana, is a psychology researcher who studies polyvagal theory. And she had this great line, change happens one nervous system at a time. And I just love that. It's like, it's not change happens because I broadcast like this message to the world. No, change happens when somebody can actually receive it in their nervous system from somebody that
Yes.
they trust.
Yes. Deep stuff. I love it.
Yeah. Me too.
Okay.
That's why I love this work. This is
Yeah.
this is so my jam. And, like I said, I've always been interested in this stuff, in psychology and sociology and how do people work and influence. And now that's my life. I get to like read about, like think and read and study this full time. And it's all relevant to the work I do. So I'm very blessed to have a job that I love doing, honestly.
Beautiful stuff. I would like to play a game with you if you're
Okay.
open for it, Eric.
I'm in.
I learned this from a master storyteller. His name is Matthew Dix.
Yeah.
He wrote Storyworthy.
The moth guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the moth guy. Yes, So
Mhm.
if you ever read his book, he has this great framework for stories, and it's called First, Last, Best, Worst.
Okay.
One of the lenses I want to play this game under is with business investments. So things like coaching, training, marketing, team members, mastermind, anything, right? But the reason why I want to focus it under business investments is because a lot of people, a lot of career coaches, they actually invest at some point. So I want to go through each one. I'll give you a phrase and just tell me the first thing that comes to mind, okay? First business investment you remember.
I guess it would be my coaching certification program. Like I invested money to go get trained and certified as a coach. That was the first investment I made in like my coaching business because I felt I couldn't do it. I mean, there's people that start coaching without that training, but I was like, I needed the training for the confidence. So that was probably the first.
What year was that?
2017.
Last business investment you made.
I'm going to answer this in an unusual way. It's not really an investment, but it is. I took most of the summer off and my wife had maternity leave. And so we took the summer off and traveled in Europe. And it's not a business investment in the sense it costs money, but I wasn't bringing in money for most of that time. I worked like 3 weeks out of 9 and took most of the summer off to invest in my family, to invest in myself, to relax a little bit. And it was hard for me. I was like, oh, my business is going to like shut down. I'm like, not what's going to happen. And I was free. I mean, it was a little freaky for me, but we had the savings and it's like, when are we going to have the opportunity to do this again? It's very hard to take a big chunk of time off like that. That investment, it's not a business investment, but it was an investment in the family, but it is a business investment in the sense that like learning to relax like that and let go of my business results a little bit, I think was a good business investment.
Best business investment.
I don't know if I can pick a best one. I'll say any investment in myself. So that includes like this trauma-informed coaching class I took last year. It was a year-long program. I benefited so much from it personally, but also as a coach. Before that, I worked with a guy named Steve March. He has a coaching school called Alethea Unfoldment, integralunfoldment.com. I can send you all these links later. And his program was amazing. It was transformational for me as a coach. And again, for me as a person, like it helped open me up, which made me a better coach. I invested in a therapist for several years because one of the biggest dangers for a coach is projecting our own stuff onto the client. And unless we have a way to handle our own stuff and deal with it, we're gonna keep it bottled up and it's gonna come out elsewhere. So investing in a therapist is a really good business investment. Currently, I'm working with an energy and meditation coach, who's also a great investment for me. Because remember, I was saying like I'm a little jittery and anxious and not grounded, and like this is what I need to find that grounding and stability in myself. So, can I pick one of those as the best? It's really hard. But each of them was really, really helpful for like 1 or 2 years of my business and in my own personal development.
Yeah, something I'm learning about you is that you're pretty holistic. I love it. I love the whole holistic side of yourself. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I trained at my training and certification was at a institute called New Ventures West here in San Francisco, and they do integral coaching. They're like, yeah, we're one person. It's all integrated. It's not, oh, we can just take care of our head and not take care of our mind and our body and our environment. And so I really believe in that. And I think it's the essence of coaching. Like if we take care of ourselves, we can take care of others better. And through us, we are the change we want to see in the world. Like that's the bedrock of any change, not just as a coach, like I said, but as a leader of any sort. As a person in the world, we are the change.
Yeah, I think a good example is like if you don't take care of your health, if you don't take care of yourself, right? And even you have kids. If something happens to you, let's say you get put in a coma or unfortunately you kick the
Hmm.
bucket, right? Can't make
Yeah.
changes from the grave. It's very, very hard. Unless you're like
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius or something, who
Yeah.
has a long lasting brand since the Roman Empire. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question.
I think that's sorry. I just want to
Go
build
ahead.
on that. Like, I love that. It's like, yeah, the flight safety stuff. You know, put on your own oxygen mask before helping others. Like, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to have capacity to help others. You're not going to have capacity to make change in the world because you're too busy surviving. You've got those blinders on or fight or flight mode, and you're struggling to get through each day. Unfortunately, that's the situation most people live their entire lives in. And I get it. I mean, I was in that state until I was 40 something. Like, I was like, okay, gotta go, gotta do more, and the only thing that kind of changed for me was I burned myself out doing it. I was chasing this promotion at Google. I'm working 100-hour weeks, completely destroyed my mental and physical health, and hit my version of rock bottom. Not that I was like doing drugs or anything, but just like I was just completely destroyed physically, where I was in bed for a week. And I had the clarity to say, I need to make a change. I need to do something different. And that was transformational for me. And so, yeah, like having gone through that myself, I want to try to help other people from not burning themselves out to find that clarity, to find that stability before they hit that point. So that's a lot of basically, I want to be the coach to my pre-burnout self. That's kind of what I try to do.
We have one last one.
Okay,
Worst business investment that you kind of wish you got your money back from.
but that's got to be the sales coach. I spent $10,000 on a sales coach, and I did nothing of what he asked for. I mean, I think that the plan was great. I just didn't execute on it. And I should have been able, I wish I'd just been able to talk to him. I was like, you're not actually going to do this. So don't spend the money. But he'd been referred to me by somebody I knew and trusted. And they're like, oh, this guy changed my business. He's amazing. You should absolutely hire him. So I was like, okay, I'll take the leap and give the money. And I gave the money, and then I just didn't follow the program. I'm like, well, that was just, I mean, it's, it was not effective in the sense that it increased sales. It was effective in helping me realize like the problem was not out there. The problem was I didn't know what to do. The problem was I didn't want to do things that way, and I needed to find a different way that felt more authentic to myself.
Last question for you. As we're reflecting on all these investments, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you've been in this business for about 7 years, investing into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I guess how has your decision making process changed in what to invest in over the years?
So, I mean, like, I don't do business investments in the sense of like, I don't do paid ads. I don't like hire people. I'm not building huge infrastructure to support me. Like, because again, I'm not trying to scale. I'm happy with a little one person business. I guess I think how has it changed is mostly it's like, what do I think is my growth edge in some sense? What's holding me back? And for a while that was like, oh, I just needed to learn more about coaching. And so that's where New Ventures West and this guy, Steve March's coaching schools were helpful. And then as I did some work with my therapist, I discovered some trauma and that I wanted to deal with in my own past. And that's why the trauma informed coaching was really helpful. And now I'm trying to like find that inner stability. So now I've got this energy meditation coach. But it's all about kind of finding that growth edge of like, what is keeping me from being the next level coach or really person I want to be. And I guess I want to say more on that. Like, we talk about coaching as if it's a job. And I don't believe that. I was a coach long before I had a business coaching, long before I got paid to coach. James Flaherty, who is the founder of the New Ventures West, he says coaching is a way of being. Like, you can show up for somebody in a supportive way with your whole presence in a single moment. He gave the example of like a shared moment of experience with the person bagging your groceries at the grocery store can be a moment of coaching. And I just found that so inspiring and so aspirational and inspirational, I guess, both. It's inspirational, like I want to get there where I can show up for that in that supportive way for anybody that comes in my sphere. So I don't know if I'm answering your question about investment, like how do I think about business investment, but that's why I guess to your question, like how do I think about business investments? That's why I keep coming back to, I am the business. I am the key to the business. I am the center of the business. And so I invest in myself, and whatever is holding me back, that's the best business investment for me at any given time.
I love it. It's so important. And people definitely need to be reminded of it as well. Last question. How can people find you? How can people connect with you? And what is your book?
To find me, I'm on LinkedIn, but you can't spell my name. So instead go to toomanytrees.com. That's my coaching site. You were curious about that name. So when I was starting my coaching business, I was trying to look for a URL, and somebody was asking me, like, so what do you want to do as a coach? Well, like what makes you special as a coach? And I said, I'm really good at seeing the big picture and helping people get unstuck, and helping people see the forest for the trees. And then we were playing around, like, what? Oh, when there's too many trees in the way, you can be helpful. I'm like, yes. Oh, that's available. So toomanytrees.com. And yeah, and the book, it's funny, I didn't even think about the book as a business investment, which I should have. It's like I self-published my book, which was a big chunk of time and money. And I don't know if it was a good investment. It might have been a bad investment from a monetary point of view, but it was very satisfying to do. So the book is called You Have a Choice: Beyond Hard Work to Meaningful Impact. And it really starts with that moment of burnout for me, where I was working harder and harder and harder, and I felt stuck. I'm like, well, I have to get this next promotion. I have to do whatever my manager says. And those have tos kept me stuck. Because like if I have to do whatever my manager says, and my manager asks more and more of me to get this promotion, then I just have to work harder and harder. I did that for 3 years. And it turns out eventually your body can't take 100-hour weeks anymore. I mean, like I was literally working 8 a.m. to midnight pretty much every day, including I would sometimes take a weekend afternoon off, and it was just crushing. But I didn't think I had a choice. I thought I was stuck. I didn't think there was any other option. I just had to do it until I burned myself out. And when I was lying sick in bed, I was like, wait, what if I didn't get that promotion? What if I said no to my manager? Is that a thing? Can I do that? And it turned out I could. I went back into the office. I'm like, I'm not working this hard anymore. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I can't keep doing this. It doesn't work for me. Like, okay, well, if you can't handle it, I'll find somebody that can. I'm like, yeah, I get that. And I'm going to find, and you're not going to get that promotion because you're not going to be performing at the same level. I'm like, okay. And it sucked. They took away half my team. They slashed my performance rating, and the world didn't end. And the way I put it in the book is like, you do always have a choice. It's not an easy choice, and you will have to accept the consequences of that choice. In my case, saying no to my manager meant losing the promotion and losing half my team, losing the performance rating. But I had a choice, and I didn't realize it. And so the book lays out a blueprint to analyze the way in which you're keeping yourself stuck, the have-tos, the musts, the rules that you might have that are keeping yourself stuck. So there's a bunch of exercises in the book to lead you through that process so that you realize, how are you the person keeping yourself stuck? And you have a choice.
Beautiful message, Eric. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I had a blast because honestly, this was probably like, we went kind of technical, and then we also went very like deep and stuff too. So really appreciate you coming onto the podcast, Eric.
Thanks, Kevin. I really appreciated the questions. I love the chance to go deep. So thanks for being willing to go there with me. I appreciate it. It was a really good conversation.
Oh, if this was like solely my podcast, we went deeper, but I was like, ooh.
Well, Kevin, start your own podcast. Let's go. I'm in.
maybe. I do have like separate podcasts, but yeah. Awesome.
Deep Philosophy podcast. I mean, we could absolutely do that.
For sure. Thank you again, Eric. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.